Okay, good evening, YouTube. We're starting YouTube for the first time
5 o'clock.
at 5 o'clock. Yeah,
Hello.
Instagram.
It's a bit dark.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
Hello.
Okay, we'll show who that is. Let me move this forward a bit. Hi, Belle.
Hi, Bella.
Hi,
Hello on
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah, Ray.
Hi,
Hi, Rachel.
Rachel.
Fumi.
Hey, for me.
Good to
You've
see
joined us
you.
early today.
Yeah, good to see you all.
Yes. Hello on YouTube as well.
Yeah. Hey, my guy,
Hi, Mr. J.
Mr. Akiwande.
Hello. Good evening.
Yeah.
Hope you've had a great week and you're enjoying your Sunday.
Yeah, I see my friend on YouTube here is out playing golf. I can tell
How can you tell?
because I saw his post on Instagram. I don't know that he went out today though. The
Oh,
weather the
okay.
weather hasn't been that
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Hey, Dvex,
Hello.
Shadi,
Hi, Shade.
good to have you guys as always.
Yes.
Okay, we're just gonna wait for a few more people to jump on and then we'll get started. Right,
Cool.
it's interesting, James, that you have a huge presence on Instagram, but you've chosen to log on via YouTube. Huh?
Some people do either. Maybe it depends on what you're doing.
Yeah. Hi, Shadi. Hi.
Hello. Hi, Shade.
Thanks, Shadi, for last week. Truly,
Yes.
truly awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
That was a really good session last
Hello.
week.
Hi, D. Who's D-Bex?
I'm not sure. D-Beck, so please
Tell us who you are. Reveal
unveil.
your identity.
Yeah, yeah. And Shadi, I don't know whether you've gone to check the
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 views.
views. That session is proven to be a very popular session.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's really good.
Definitely. And I sent you one of the good feedbacks that, or some feedbacks that we had as well.
Yeah. Okay, we just people usually sort of log in a few minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst we're waiting for people, can anyone tell me what is different about today? Is there anything that is different about today's session now? Yeah.
Notice the difference. Spot the difference.
Hi, Tina.
Hello.
Yeah. We just whilst we're waiting for more people to join, Pastor Josh, want to just thank you all for always tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to want to have a session at 5 o'clock and somehow I mean you're hoping that people would just tune in. So we appreciate that. Thank you all for always tuning in.
For encouraging us.
Yeah, that's really the encouragement. Bex no Becky.
Hi, Becky. I was thinking of you earlier today, actually. Hope you're well.
Yeah, right. Okay. So I think we're going to crack on now. Aha!
Yay!
Yeah. It took you a while, though, Rachel, to
Hello.
figure that
Hi,
out.
Pastor Joshua.
Yeah. Okay. I think we can get started now. Another awesome time today. We're looking forward to that. But before we actually get into today's session, this week, I don't know whether for those of us that kind of listen to the news and wonder what's going on. You know that hi Sandra.
Hi.
You know that there's a vaccine on the way for coronavirus, and this is important to us obviously because one of the one of the reasons why we started the Blue Sofa is on the back of the lockdown initially. So it kind of brought out this dimension in us. So about the vaccine, we've been kind of asking people whether they will take it or not. Trust me, this is not government sponsored. Okay. It's not government sponsored. So it will be nice to hear your thoughts whether you will take it.
So, are you going to take the vaccine?
Yeah.
Are you going to take the COVID vaccine when it's it's due, when it's released, when if you're in the criteria to take it.
Yeah, would you take the vaccine? Yeah.
Yes or no?
Okay. And
Sis, you haven't answered the question though. I can just see emojis, the laughing emojis.
yeah.
So would you take, so on YouTube and on Instagram, are you going to take the vaccine? Okay, someone said they won't.
Okay. You won't. Okay. All right. No. Wow.
No. Wow. Have we not got any yeses?
Anyone? So no.
No. Whoa.
Serious.
Oh my gosh. So it's like 3 no's. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no. 4. Oh my gosh. 4 no's.
Are you guys serious?
Are you going to take the vaccine?
5.
You don't know. She says she doesn't think so.
No, but Christina is in Lagos, so I don't know that she. No, those in the UK. You wait.
You wait. Okay, what are you waiting for? Shadi, what are you waiting for?
For those that take it to whatever happens to them to see. Someone said 2 weeks after it has been tested.
On Boris, and he's still alive.
All right. Okay.
Oh God.
No, but seriously, so you won't take it. So many people, I think pretty much no one has said they'll take it, right?
Well, 2 people have said they'll wait.
Yeah.
Until it's been tested a bit more, I guess.
Yeah. Someone, James on YouTube said he'll wait for 5 years. You know, but is that because you're not in the vulnerable category? Because if you're in the vulnerable category, right? Would you be saying what you're saying? If you thought your life was at risk, you know, not taking it, would you not take it? Yeah. Okay. Well, you have proof of the damage the MMR did to at least 22 male black kids. Okay.
No, but I think there's a lot of evidence kind of that suggests that the MMR vaccine actually doesn't, and the person that actually put up an article about it has, I believe, his medical license has been revoked. And you know, I've had the MMR vaccine. My children have had the MMR vaccine, and nothing's happened to them.
Yeah.
But because some people have not had it, there is an increase in, I think, measles, because people are not taking the vaccine. So there's a lot of news that's going around that is not based on evidence.
Yeah. Now, so in answering, I'm still asking the other question though. If you were in a vulnerable category, would you take it or not? So you take it. Okay. So he said no before, but then he says yes now. He will take it.
So someone said they're still in themselves on the topic, and it appears to have many dimensions to it. There's the whole idea of the cell lines, etc., and all the moral issues that go with it.
Okay.
And so I think Pastor Josh, you're a scientist.
Well, yeah. So clearly now a lot of people won't take it. Now the other question, right? If you had to advise your elderly parents, would you advise them to take it or not? Okay, someone said
will.
No. If she answered,
if she was in the
vulnerable category. Okay, but if you had to advise your elderly parents, would you advise them to take it or not?
They would consider it, because every year they used to take the flu jab because of asthma.
I used to, yeah. Okay, all right. So James, if you had to advise your elderly parents, or if any of you had to advise your elderly parents, would you take it or not? Right? Let's hear your thoughts. No. Really? You would advise them not to take it? Interesting. Right. I've never. Okay.
Never taken the flu jab. Refused to
it's
take
interesting.
That too. Probably would still not take it.
Wow. Someone said you already told the parents to solve it. This is actually, I think the government is heading, for a challenge, you know. But anyway, let's see how it goes. Right. So this was just to really get us, to find out, to feel your pulse, really, to find out where people are.
You know, interestingly, I was looking at some data, and they did some studies to look at whether people would take the vaccine or not. And people on a lower income are more likely not to take it. People on
So what are you saying about the viewers? Are they saying they're on lower income?
I haven't finished.
Okay.
People of Black and minority ethnic background are more likely not.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
More likely not. I think 3 times as much said that they wouldn't take the vaccine.
Okay.
Compared to white counterparts.
Wow. Okay.
So you didn't answer the question though.
Myself.
Yeah.
Well, my views. But I don't know that because I mean I don't know that I need to express my personal views. Yeah. So I think we should leave that. We'll leave that.
But I do take the flu jab every year.
And I do as well.
Do you? You don't.
If I need to, I do.
Not
every
you don't
year.
Need to take the flu jab.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is that
if you did a vaccination generally, not the flu jab.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I don't know whichever one.
My children have taken the flu jab or the flu vaccine every year.
Yeah. Anyway, right. So to the conversation that we're having today. You're welcome again to the Blue Sofa. It's always a pleasure having you guys. Now, today we're actually having we're sharing or we're talking about something that we've themed stronger together.
When life happens.
When life happens, stronger together when life happens. Now, it's interesting actually. We had some guests lined up originally for this session. They have such an amazing testimony of how in the midst of or in the face of the challenge that was to tear them apart, really they managed to pull together stronger. Now why are we doing this series in this season, or what we call the coffin season, wherein ideally single people are thinking about coupling up and dating and all that, or even just for the they're thinking short term in terms of short term relationships, when relationships are not really meant for short term, they're really meant for long term, right? So this series for us really it's about helping, from sharing and listening to others and talking about the perspective that we ought to hold when it comes to relationships, because relationship is not a walk in the park. It's not I'm just saying a walk. It's not a sprint either. It's a marathon. So there are exciting elements and aspects of it, but they're also challenges. So this season we are looking at both the exciting bits of it and also the challenges, that people could face in their relationships. So the couple that we had in mind to have, that we're meant to have this for this session, as God would have it, unfortunately, they actually had an event or a situation in their family that could actually also sort of, it's one of those when life happens events. They lost a loved one in the last 24 hours, that is. So they're not able to join us on this session. But nonetheless, whilst our condolences, goes out to them, we reach out to them. We're still going to have an awesome time here today. So this so we have a new set of a couple set of guests that we have for this session, and their story would amaze you. I mean, they are long-time friends of mine, at least even before I became a Christian. I've known them for a long time, at least for the wife, but this story, I never heard it like this before. And I think having them join us today would really help us to understand that because challenges will come to every one of us, right? And when challenges comes, it comes to reveal the strength of our character or the strength of our relationship, So I guess for us, what we're hoping to achieve here today is when this couple or when people face challenges, how do they manage to overcome it? Because those are the lessons that we all need to learn in order to make the most of our relationships. So I'm going to invite my dear friends, Pastor Tayo and Pastor Mo Olotu. They will be joining us
On the sofa today.
on the sofa today. Yeah. So let me look for them. Okay. So it's a really powerful testimony that they're gonna share with us today. So right, I've invited them to join us. Please, some of us will probably need to get our tissue and just get ready to, you know. Hello. Hi. Right. Okay. Hi. So just to introduce them again, a lot of people, particularly those that follow me on Instagram, they see my property projects and they're like, "Wow, Pastor Banks, wow, you're doing so well. You're doing good." But the truth of the matter is that I have a business partner, and he's the technical brains behind what we do. That's the gentleman. That's the man right there you're looking at. So Pastor Tayo Lutu is my friend, and we do business together. We're not just business partners; we are friends. We're family. The wife I've known for you don't want her to tell you stories about me. Yeah, for so long. But they have such a powerful story to share, and we would be interviewing them on the sofa today. I've heard the story before, but I've never really heard the full. Like when guys gist, right? Guys, we give the summary of the testimony. So when Pastor Tayo shared the testimony with me, it was just just the summary of it. But then hearing Pastor Mo talk about it, like, my God, this is a blue sofa session. Really powerful. So anyway, tell us, guys, how did you guys meet, for starters? Let our guests know you a little bit.
I think over to the lady first. Yeah.
Her version, yeah.
How did you see me? Hello, everyone, and thanks, Akinladies, for inviting us. We trust we're going to have a wonderful time this evening together. And hello, our viewers.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's a privilege to be invited here this evening. Like they said, they are people that you meet and they are confident friends. So same values, same things that we aspire for in life. Pastor Banks and my wife, to be honest, they've always known each other for a very long time. And to be honest, the first time I think I met Pastor Banks, he drove his Mercedes to mine. Well, he was looking neat and all that. So when my wife said, "Yeah, known each other," I said, "Thank God he didn't marry my wife." And he said, "Well, there was no need for that fear anyway."
He wasn't born again then.
But after that, we become very good friends. It's come to minister in our church several times. But literally, we become family.
Yeah.
So we're more than privileged.
For me, he's a fantastic friend of mine. Thanks for looking after my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been married for.
We married since 2004, and I think Pastor Banks was asking that how did we meet?
Yeah.
Funnily, it was one of my friends that time used to talk about Moyo. I didn't really think anything about it, and then one of the days I think we were walking, and then he said that's the Moyo that I've always been telling you about. So apparently, I think she was inside a tailor shop. That was back in Ado, in Nigeria, for those of us who came from Nigeria.
Yeah.
And so she turned around. I don't know. I think in my mind, I'd always thought, oh, maybe this Moyo won't fat. So I thought, oh, actually, she's attractive, But there was nothing more than that, at the time. But funnily, the way God would do it, we then started attending the same church. It's like people attending Liberty Church. And then from there, she would come to our campus. She was involved in our fellowship. I was involved. And then, long story short, we're where we are now.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
And then she's got a beautiful lady singing.
Yes, 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 yes.
And actually, very interesting story because his friend used to be my friend. And I remember in their family, they used to ask, "Oh, this Moyo girl, you're always going to see. Who's this Moyo girl?" And then he used to talk about Tyre. I'm like, "Who's this Tyre, your friend?" We're just, very good friends, minding each other's business, nothing other than friendship, healthy relationship, friendship. And then the first time I'll meet Tyre, his friend said to me, "Oh, that's Tyre Luto I've been talking about." I'm like, this guy is not looking back. But I didn't tell him that. I just, like a very boldly said, "Hello." And then,
Actually, you didn't tell me the full story. I can remember what I was wearing. I was wearing a blue jeans with "Welcome to London." My dad.
Oh my goodness.
So I knew that would have given any lady.
So you came prepared.
I didn't know. I was just my own thing.
I mean, actually, that really struck me a bit on my feet. But I was this lady that I don't like to give everything away, and I was just observing, And then along the line, we started attending the church. We go for fellowship together.
Was that intentional, or was that just coincidental?
It was just coincidence, but it's God.
I was minding my business, serving people without distraction, and you come around and do you want to have this team to listen to? Like, okay, thank you.
I just being my sister's keeper.
Yeah, and all of this,
I understand.
Because we're not really. There's a bit of a story to it, to be honest. And when we started knowing a little bit, this is me that I am very passionate about knowing what God is saying about something. But I mean, thinking back about the story, there was a time because I do really have dreams in those days, like about things. I had a dream about it, and then we're not friends. And then in that dream, he was telling me that, oh, he loves me and he wants a relationship. I'm like, what's this all about? Forwarding, we now became friends, but I didn't even think a lot about it. But I remember the day he actually came to tell me about his intention. When he brought his manifesto and he came to our house. And thinking about 1.5 years before then, exactly the dream I saw about him, sitting down and telling me, it was exactly what happened.
Wow.
And I was I'm telling you.
But we were not friends when you had the dream.
When I had the dream, we were not friends at all. We were just trying to get to know.
Mm.
I don't know what time. And I was smiling when he came to tell me, I actually really like you. I want more than friendship. I want a relationship. I was smiling because for me, it was like, wow, how could what I saw like 1.5 years ago just come to reality? And because of, he was just telling me his intention. He said, you know what? Please just do let me know when when you think you have an answer to give me, and you ran away. So here we are today now, stuck with this guy, amazing guy.
Yeah.
And if I have my way, I will choose him again. He's an amazing guy.
Lovely.
Wow. So when he came, so when he came singing, "I want more of you."
He couldn't even look at my face. He could not even look at my face.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, we built the friendship over time, and to be honest, I started liking him, even though there was an element of God factor there. But I wanted to be sure if God was going to be there, I would go with him. If not, say bye bye. It would be painful to lose such an amazing, handsome, amazing guy. But I think the God factor for me, I couldn't treat with any other thing.
Yeah.
But I thank God that God was in this and He's still with us. And
and I think it's and that is quite important. Given that, and we're getting to the story now, considering the different challenges and what God has brought you through as a couple. Because what we find is that when people are considering their life partner, they're not thinking long term. They're thinking, okay, well, I like the fingertips, I like the hips, I like all these things, and they're all important. But for the journey, for the long-term relationship, I like the six-pack, I like the car it drives. But whilst those are important, I mean, they're not as important as the core elements of the relationship, which is some of the things that we're going to talk about now. So tell us, you said you got married 2004. Wow, that's some. I mean, 20 years is down. We have to do something bigger.
But we had courted
We
for
got
8
it
years.
8 years.
Wow.
Wow.
We got married 2008, but we got it 8 years before that.
Okay, so you got married
That's
2008.
another story, isn't it?
Okay. 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 Oh, okay. So 20 years. Wow. That's some time there. Okay. Right. So in terms of so you got married and then you couldn't have gone married 2012.
8.
2004
Was when you got married.
16 years of marriage, 8 years of courtship, to 24 years of knowing each other.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So the point then is, like I said, 20 years is down around the corner. So Pastor Mo, let us know what you want for your 20 years, but don't tell us publicly now, between you and I, so that we can get it from this guy.
Oh, that's a blank check. Thank you, Pastor Vibes.
You know, we will enter that pocket. That money, we have to spend it.
Thank God, that's after prayers. I'll keep thinking of.
Yeah.
Make it big.
Yeah. So I know that you guys got married and then it took you 5 years before you had your first child.
So do you want to take us through that period? So 5 years, believing God on children. I mean, did you think that there would be challenges conceiving beforehand?
No, not really, to be honest. I mean, because we courted for 8 years, but then we came from a Christian background, so it was so important for us not to for the bed to be defiled while we were courting. So it didn't mean that there was no attraction, or there are times you want to kiss or whatever, but then you stop yourself.
Yeah.
Finding the boundary.
Yeah, all the boundaries.
Pushing the boundary and pulling it back.
Yeah, so initially it wasn't difficult, but then the longer it was, it became much more difficult. And to be honest, the reason why we didn't marry earlier was because I came from a background where my parents did well. My parents too did very well. And at that time, I just, number one, because I did architecture, she graduated before me.
2 years
She
before
did a 4-year course. I did a 6-year course. So apparently, when she went to serve in Nigeria, she was waiting for me to finish my 6-year course. And then apparently, after I finished that, there was no way I would just come home and say, "Oh, I wanted to marry." Just say, "What
you wanted to buy a jet."
You couldn't just come back to my family and say, so I needed a little bit of time to settle down and all that. And then in the midst of it, I decided I was coming to the UK to study in Cardiff. So that then had there to hold us to make it 8 years. So eventually when we married, we were like, oh, because when we were courting, she used to say that at the moment, you don't touch me. If you touch me now, if there's anything, I can get pregnant, blah, blah, blah. So when we married, we just thought, okay, maybe first month, there will be pregnancy. There was nothing, but we didn't think anything of it, to be honest, because even if you go to the doctors, they say to you that, is it 1 year? It's not 1 year. Just go and be enjoying yourself. But then after it was like 1 year, we thought, why is it in 2 years and 3 years? Then you start questioning yourself that, okay, is there something you're doing wrong? Is there something you're not doing wrong? So, we didn't see it.
So in that,
then you know just a little about marriage until you get married, and about your system, and then all of a sudden we realize that there should be more to this. There's something we're not doing right.
Yeah.
And then we started seeking medical advice, and then I found I wasn't ovulating and stuff, and then we went to medical.
Yeah. So, but in that, I think in that 5 year period, right? The absence of the pregnancy or the lack of the children, did it affect the relationship in any way?
Oh, it was the best part of, we're still enjoying our part of our life now. We used to travel a lot. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Myself and my husband, every weekend, going to the car. I used to be in Sapna, then there was no,
Yeah, I know. It was just maps.
And then, every weekend we're out, quite a lot. And there was no commitments, even if we were check weekends, we're out. And then for us, we're just enjoying ourselves, not thinking anything big about it until maybe over 3 years. I'm like, wait a minute, we actually need to take this serious now. What do we need to do differently?
Yeah.
Well, with regards to our personal relationship.
No, there was
The friendship has been there, so we
affect
didn't.
us. It didn't affect us personally.
Hello.
No.
Okay.
So the fact that we were also in the UK maybe could have helped. The fact that you're not immediately with your family.
Yeah.
Our parents also didn't put us under pressure. So it didn't affect us personally. Well, after a while, the pressure was there. What are you doing wrong? What are you not doing right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't like it was affecting our days.
Okay.
And we're just serving God together. And the fact that we had an understanding of, who God is and what He has for us in marriage, I think that really helped that stability and now, unity as a team. So
Yeah.
Okay. So so year 5 then. So you get pregnant, and then do you want to take us through that pregnancy and what happened?
It wasn't year 5, it was year 4.
Okay.
But then we didn't have to be until year 5.
Yeah. But yeah, so we had to seek medical advice, went through all the stuff, went on medication, and all the lights and nights. And then, baby came. Thankfully, we're like, that is it now. With all this notification coming on my screen and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then we started the journey, started going for antenatal care and stuff. And then along the line, I just realized that my blood pressure was fluctuating. Today is up. But I didn't even think of anything about it. I was this vibrant, jovial, jumping around type. So we carried on, and at some point, I think the doctors were concerned about the level of the rise in the blood pressure. And at some point, they asked me to come into the hospital. And I remember the 31st of December that year, I had a blood pressure monitor on me 24 hours, just to monitor, why is it fluctuating? And I was meant to lead praise and worship at church. And I went.
Wow.
me. And I had a fantastic time in God's presence. And when you have a blood pressure that's been monitoring for 24 hours, and every hour the thing is good. I covered it well. I made sure I wore something really big, huge. And then I went to the hospital the following day with this erratic blood pressure monitor. I didn't realize that it was going to show what I was doing overnight. And I couldn't tell them I was jumping around my own thing and just enjoying God, even in the midst of all the stuff.
Yeah.
But they're like, this is out of order. What's going on here? What were you doing in the middle of the night? And then they had to, literally ask me to stay in the hospital. And that was the beginning of the journey.
Yeah.
So I went 1st of January that year, 2008, not knowing that it was a journey would take that would change your, dynamics of a space in our life.
Yeah.
And then I thought I was going to the hospital for 1 day, 2 days, and then I couldn't come out of it. Then they call it, I was having pre-eclampsia. That means pregnancy-induced blood pressure. So I was there at the hospital, and the more they try to check the blood pressure, the higher it goes. The more they tried to do everything, it was going higher. Baby wasn't developing, and all the stuff that came with it. And at some point in the pregnancy, it's only 27 weeks. I couldn't progress more than that.
Yeah.
Because my blood pressure went so high, 220 over 160. The doctor said, you know what? You are ill now. I'm like, no, I'm fine. He said, no. That if we leave it beyond this, you're going to have eclampsia. And not only the baby will be affected, but your life is at risk. I was not what I worked. Maybe went to London and thereabouts. Whilst they were doing the blood pressure, it kept going up and up and up and higher. And straight away, they just wheeled me to highly dependent unit and said, baby must come out now. I was in denial. How can a 27 weeks old baby going to 40? For me, it didn't make sense. I didn't realize I couldn't come to terms with what was going on with me. Nobody was with me at the ward, and they were wheeling my bed out literally. So you can't stand up, you can't do this, you can't do that. And then had a nurse 247 with me. I had this. They just literally pushed me to the highly dependent unit. And I said, can I talk to my husband? It's not around. So I called my husband, called my mother-in-law, and then the story began. Everybody had to rush down, and 24 hours afterwards, baby was out. Because they couldn't, at that point, had used all medications. They have got to the highest level of what they could do. And said the only solution to it was for the baby to come out.
Hmm.
And then,
Yeah. So apparently they brought out the baby. And I think your own blood pressure then eventually gradually.
yeah, it was still, but yeah.
But then the problem was that the baby's
Lungs were not developed.
Wasn't quite well developed, so he couldn't breathe. So it was an introduction to a different world for us.
Entirely.
And then went to things that generally, if you're not in the medical field, you won't know. And then you see babies in
Incubator.
Yeah. I think you need to speak up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You need to speak up a little bit.
Yeah, so you see baby with incubator, 24/7 gadgets, oxygen, and then you start seeing monitors, all kinds of things. It was like a joke, like a dream, really.
We didn't come to
Like
reality
almost like
time
a bad
to
dream.
yeah. And it was on life support.
Yeah,
all true.
Yeah, so it was there, and then funnily it was growing, and it was developing, and I think there was a time he did actually come off the machine,
and they put on the lighter.
Yeah, and then for whatever reason, one of the days, they said he had an infection, kind of a bug or something like that. And I think it was a mistake by the doctors because they thought it was a different thing. So they then transferred him over to Greater Mo from Birmingham where we were. So we followed, I don't forget that night, we followed the ambulance. So the ambulance was taking him. He said we couldn't go inside the ambulance. We needed to drive our car. So we were driving together. So we were driving together to Greater Mo. The ambulance had gone ahead.
So hold on a minute. So that was about 2.5 hour journey.
Oh yeah.
In the car. In that moment, what was going through your mind?
To be honest with you, we were just praying in tongues. You couldn't really start. Would you start blaming each other? No, not really. So it was like we're in this together, you know. So we were just praying in tongues, just thanking God, worshiping God. It was difficult. It was this moment you're a little bit confused.
Mm.
You're under pressure.
Yeah.
The next moment you're thinking you need to fight for this.
Yes.
This is where your faith comes in.
Yeah.
The next moment you're thinking, but why?
Yeah.
Mm.
Why? How did he come to this after 4 years
Mm.
and then you don't end up with a baby comes and then there's high blood pressure after you waited for that long? So it was a mix of all those turmoil and thoughts, and you're flip-flopping between highs and lows.
Yeah.
So anyway,
and another good thing is we had very good support of network around us.
Mm.
My mother-in-law was a fire prayer warrior, there 24/7. We had senior friends that were fake people. They were just there to support us.
Yeah.
So even sometimes when we didn't know what to do, they'll fire us of our faith, and then we carry it on as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then we knew at that point we couldn't afford to give up.
Mm-hmm.
We just, when this you're doing something that's naturally your strength couldn't carry you.
Yeah.
The grace and the Spirit of God helped us through that.
So eventually, just to cut that short, we then got to Greater Mo. They had to do an operation on him. So you can imagine a baby that is quite small already. They're doing an operation because they think he has an infection. Now, there was no way for them to know whether to confirm whether he actually had that particular infection until they did the surgery.
Mm.
And then opening him up, it was not that infection, so it was a wrong call.
Wow.
But you remember that I couldn't forget before they took him to the theater, he literally stopped breathing in our presence, and they had to resuscitate.
Wow.
Remember the doctor coming to us and say, "Oh, we're sorry about it," because it was very upsetting. You could imagine a very tiny baby, less than 1 kg, going through all that.
Yeah.
And then they came to us and just like a form of warning that they would try their best, but they were not too sure it was going to make it out.
Mm.
Wow.
So imagine you as a parent, they're telling you that before we went in.
Yeah.
And the only thing I mean, for both of us, you could imagine what was going through our mind. And at that moment, we didn't say much to each other.
Mm.
We were praying.
Yeah.
You know. And one thing I held on to was I couldn't forget. It was March the 2nd, thereabout of it. The following day was going to be Mother's Day. And I said to God, so does it mean by tomorrow I'm not going to be a mother? I mean, it was very funny, but like, does it mean by tomorrow I'm not going to be a mother? I just had a thought in my mind, but I left it. So my husband was praying in tongues, just walking the corridor. And I guess I was, so one of our friend Kim stayed with me. I left him to go and do his praying, but I just sat down. You could imagine the Lord going through our mind.
Yeah.
Are they coming to come and be at her to tell us that he made it out? Was he not going to make it out? So at that point in time, we were waiting for the next call or the next, news.
Mm.
And that came after about 5 hours of the area. And he made it out. So I'm like, thank God.
Mm.
At least by tomorrow I'll still be a mom.
Mm.
Not thinking about the long time back, it's the immediate managing. So one of the things I helped us was managing the moment and staying strong.
Yeah.
You could only be in the moment because it was like you were on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Very difficult. Anyway, so he made it. They returned him back from Greater One. But then apparently the whole surgery thing then set him back in terms of so he had to go back on the machine for months. So we were there, I think 5-6 months.
Yeah.
Well, about 6 months.
Over 5 months plus.
Yeah. So I had to take time off work.
So
I had to take time off.
you were staying. I mean, Pastor Mo, you were staying back in the hospital for that 6 months period.
Most of the time. So what happened was it was a very difficult time. I was literally leaving there. My husband at some point went back to work.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do any other thing.
Yeah.
Because anytime you get a call from the hospital, your heart will be like,
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And anytime there's any major thing, they will have to call you. So when I see any private call, I just think it was the hospital call.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, I'm not going to be leaving this way. So once I wake up early in the morning, I just carried my bag and I stayed in the hospital till 11 midnight and then come home. So literally, I just come and sleep and go back.
Yeah.
But at times when things are very difficult, we'd have to stay over and they'll give us a room
Okay.
to stay over. Yeah.
So you get, I mean, throughout that period, I suppose one of the things that some of the positives do was, I think we grew closer in terms of prayer.
Mm.
Yeah.
We prayed more together. It wasn't like blaming each other, this. No. We sort of just prayed together. We became closer. It was trusting God, having faith. And we're really trusting God that God will turn things around. But then it's just one of those things that God is sovereign. He didn't eventually make it. So one of the days it passed. I wasn't there. It was my wife who had gone out. But then the doctors had said to us that even if you made it, there was always the possibility that other things would have been affected, maybe the brain or the stage sore. So again, as at that time, there was a lot of questions that why God can heal. We had read a lot of Kenneth Hagin books. We had read a lot of other faith books. So why can God do something about it? Okay. But then, I mean, if you want to say,
yeah, I think one of the things that strengthens our faith and make me stand in awe of God was, I mean, some of the things that happened during that period. First, I told you about how we met and how I was sure God wanted us to be in this marriage relationship. So while we're going through all that, it has never crossed my mind. And our mind up to, I think you married wrongly. No, up to now, even when we're in the midst of it, we felt, you know what, it was a decision to get married to each other, and God was next.
Yes.
Even in the midst,
even
in our own life or heart, you never thought, oh, did we marry wrongly? Was it why this was happening? No. I mean, I could say that clearly. And so the fact that God was in need, even in the midst of it all, because that was one of the words God gave us before. I got my that if you go through this, I will be with you.
Mm.
So while we were going through, we saw God there. So
Mm.
and, we're like, okay, this is a situation we have to face. It was one of the things that he said, he will be with us. And said, God, we believe you are here with us. So how do we carry on with this?
Yeah.
So just before the baby died, I told you we had a lot of support network, people praying for us, praying with us and thereabout. And then Tayo's uncle is a prophet in London. And one of the uncles, and he's a pastor, someone we respect so much. We don't necessarily listen to prophet, but he's a pastor, somebody that carries the word of God and it has integrity. Was just praying along with. Sometimes he used to come around us here, and then one day said, God is going to do something for you guys. Roundabout, I can't even remember the day, but it was like about 2 weeks. The boy
like a fortnight.
Like a fortnight. That was somebody put it. So we just said we received it in Jesus' name. And for you that you are trusting God for your child, what will God be doing? We just
or raising for the dead.
Raise God, just you. That is all we want. Whatever else you want to do, let the heart, let the lungs be developed. Let him come up. The supports, oxygen support system and stuff. And then fast forward, the 2 weeks time was when the boy died. It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
To be honest. And then we packed our things and went home because I literally saw the boy breathe his last in my presence. And for the first time, I didn't know what happened, but there was this confidence when I saw him breathe his last, and I saw it. I told the nurse, I said, he's done. I said, can I have him? So I held him on my heart, and my husband came up. And for the first time in many months, I saw him peaceful. Very peaceful. Yeah, very peaceful. I'm like, even it was very, because I guess we didn't release him. I knew if my husband was there that day, he would still be there.
You would almost be gone. I'm like, you are going nowhere.
God has to send you on the hands. I'm telling you, because if my husband was around, he would not. Because it wasn't.
I wasn't releasing him.
He wasn't there. That's just short moment, and then this happened. But I believe God knew what he was doing. God always has the best for us. And for anyone out there, I don't know what you're going through. You would have, whatever you're going through, and you're thinking, why me? How? I just wanted to know that God has the best of your interest.
That's right. That's right.
So the long term, He has your best of interest. You might not understand how.
He's faithful.
He's ever faithful, even in the face of adversity. Please put it somewhere, because one day you'll come back and testify.
Yeah.
Just as we're doing. By God's grace, and we have 3 lovely princesses. And we're shouting all over the place around, and I said, we don't even want any more.
We said we're going on an online thing.
All right, so
everybody needs
just
to
go and stay somewhere. You'll be hearing everywhere. We have tea in the house. And God is so faithful.
Yeah.
And
So
fast forward, so 2 weeks time, we were home, and the boy was still in the morgue, not yet buried. And then my husband had to go and conduct another naming ceremony for another baby that was born in the church.
Imagine.
Yeah. So we were involved in a church. We were not. We were like associate pastors, like assistant pastor. So the senior pastor had traveled, and so somebody then gave back, and there was a need for naming. Apparently, he felt to me. So
and you were just suffered the loss at that point.
Oh yeah. So I now go and name the baby because I was also grieving.
Even the baby was still at the morgue then, wasn't yet buried. So
Wow.
imagine that. And then I went back to church because normally our pastor, the wife wasn't around then. So normally when they do baby dedication, I bring in the baby, I carry the baby from the back and dance for him. And I've not been in church for months, 5 months or thereabouts. And I came back that Sunday and carried the baby and danced forward. Very tough.
What was on your mind at that point?
So yeah, that's why I had to tell myself that genuinely I need to rejoice with these people that are rejoicing because number one, they did not take my own child away.
Yeah.
Number one, and number two, it does not stop what God wants to do. I think I need to align myself. Very tough, but the truth of the matter is, it does not change who God is.
Yeah.
So I had to do what I had to do because if I'm not physically there, that's fine. Somebody will tell me, but I'm there. So no excuse. I, by faith, carried that baby and danced for.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people were looking at me, and when we finished, some people gathered boldness to come and say, "What? Were you okay?"
Boldness.
You know, I'm like, "Yes, I'm fine." And sincerely, I have to tell myself, "Yes, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with what we have just done. It has to be done."
Mm-hmm.
And I guess God watches on some of these
He
things.
does. He does.
And for someone out there, you know, you might be going through. At times, God is testing your attitude, and your reaction to things, because He Himself knows the best thing to do. He will always test it.
Yeah.
So going back to my 2 weeks of this prophecy,
please, we have to talk about this. We don't have much time left, so we need to talk about this bit.
Yeah, so maybe I will just this prophecy, and it was playing on my mind because I was thinking, is this a false prophet? What is God going to do? And this was somebody we trusted so much, and that made me hold on to that prophecy. So 2 weeks down the line, baby was still in the morgue, not on the funeral. And then I did not even tell my husband anything. We were grieving in our own different ways. And I said, God must be ready to do something. Is it that He's going to raise this boy up from the dead? Or, okay, maybe He's going to give us another one miraculously. And this was us that waited, did everything for 4 years, had to do medical and everything before, this baby just came. And in the midst of all those stress, what could God be planning to do? I didn't know what entered my head. And you know when you're trying for baby so much, I used to have a lot of pregnancy strip at the bedside. And every month you want to go and test when you're ovulating, are you pregnant, are you not, Yeah, so all of a sudden, 2 weeks, I didn't tell my husband, I just took one of the pregnancy slips. And I went to do pregnancy test. I didn't know what was going on in my head. And lo and behold, it was positive.
Wow.
Naturally.
Naturally.
We were not even trying for.
We did not try for it.
We were not even in the right frame of mind.
Not in the right frame of mind.
So,
did not use anything.
So let me ask the question that people are thinking, right? 2 weeks, you are still grieving. I mean, the baby was in the hospital at that time. Is this supernatural,
Conception.
who did it? How did it happen?
I'll tell you. Every time we shared it, that the same question that Pastor Banks is asking was entered. To be honest, we too were surprised. So we were thinking, so when did he happen?
It was not the Holy Spirit.
But it wasn't like you were making love every day. So
there was no even way to do that.
So you start thinking, you only made love how many times? So it's easy to think, when did you really happen?
We had to narrow down when it happened,
So, anyway, we narrowed it down to, you see, one of the times we were in the hospital in Birmingham here, the doctors actually knew that we were Christians because the way we handled everything. In fact, when other people were going through stuff, people would lose children, they'll say, please, can you talk to them? Because even though they realized that we were Christians, we were people of faith. I think one of the nights they gave us a room because we had stayed in the hospital so late. So instead of going back, they said, okay, do you want to stay in a room? And then in that room that we stayed in, apparently we were comforting ourselves. And I said, come on, let's do. And then she was like, inside the hospital. I think that was like a few weeks before the baby passed on. So when she tested, we said, look, let's look at when. No, this can only be the day that
ministering during your own struggles.
I'm telling you, to be honest, with everything around this, I was taking like a medication to make me lactate, get milk for the baby when we were in the hospital. So that was like an antiseptic,
contraceptive.
Like contraceptive on its own. That I shouldn't have been pregnant naturally. And when this stage whereby, making love was, I remember that night clearly. Yes, are you? Come here by the Holy Ghost.
Romance.
So hold on. So hold on. Is summoned you by the Holy Ghost?
It was somebody by the Holy Ghost. I'm like, you could just go and sit down. But because and I want to encourage couples, please, whatever you're going through, do not let it affect your relationship. It's quite key that you stay strong together. Yeah. And I remember that night I was not even in the mood for nothing. I said, just leave me alone. And I heard, sincerely, very funny, I heard something in my spirit saying, you better obey. I'm telling you, very was on a normal. They were like, I had that and just said, you better obey. So what is it? You come by the Holy Ghost. I'm like, you just leave me alone. And then that thing said, no, you better obey. And I'm like, okay, just come, just come. Then bad you, just that kind of a thing. And then, not knowing that was it.
Yeah. Well, I think I think that for me it also testifies of the strength of your relationship.
Yeah.
Because in that moment, it's not you're not even thinking, it's not something that you should even be considering, or most other people anyway.
Not at all.
So I still think it was under the inspiration of the Holy Ghost.
Oh yeah.
It was the Holy Ghost, because it was even the Holy Ghost somebody that made me, to be honest, I wouldn't have.
But remember that there was nothing else to do during that time.
You were bored.
You move in the Holy Spirit.
And to somebody out there, sincerely, some of these things, we're laughing over it, but there are sometimes that the instruction that he gives you might not make sense. It might not make sense.
Yeah.
It was when Jesus just told the servant, go and fill in the jar with water. And we're thinking about wine here. It doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense when you're in a precarious situation and somebody says, you just come by the Holy Ghost. For what reason?
Yeah.
It's not the time and not the right place, But yeah, he was planning something. He was really planning something, and get the seed ready and then let the boy go and rest.
Yeah.
For me, when I realized I tested positive, I was broken. I was so broken because I remember one of the days my husband was grieving in his own way. I was doing my own thing. We do check on each other, but at the same time give each other space. Because even though you're grieving, you need to allow yourself to grieve and heal. You can heal together, but you can't force yourself to. Each individual have to find their own way of healing. I talk a lot, and my husband takes the thing, and so we're doing it in our own way. And I took a long walk one of the days. I couldn't even pray. But I told myself I wasn't going to ask too much questions from God. That was one thing, because I didn't have an answer to it after 5 years, after doing everything. But I said I wasn't going to ask questions. I was taking a long walk. I was doing a prayer walk. And the Holy Spirit said to my heart, can you trust me again? And he gave me a story, just a scenario of a baby. That the mother scolded. Would the child go away from the mother? No, you see, come back running. And I had myself talking my heart back together. If I don't, who else will I trust? Where else can I go? And there was nothing more than that. Not knowing that he was doing something, not knowing he had already planted that seed, without me knowing. I said, who else can I trust if I don't again? And when I saw that I was pregnant, I was broken. I cried. And that for me put a closure to the grieving.
He helped. That actually helped, because you saw that basically God is responsible. So, because we then had questions. I mean, for me, I had questions that, what would it cost God to just heal him? Just heal him. It cost you nothing. Then that's why I said he's sovereign. So basically what he was saying is, okay, you know what? Let this boy come. But I'm giving you some. I'm giving you another. Again, that's his decision. But then he tells you that even more than we think about, you think we're planning for our own life. His own plans are better.
Wow.
And we're really thankful to God, because if the baby was to be alive up to now, he would have been very vegetative, a lot of disability, possibly because he wasn't too developed at 27 weeks. God just feels, let him come and rest, and you have a better replacement.
So, you kind of mentioned a few things that kind of just helped you through. So initially kind of knowing that God is in the marriage, which kind of helped you at the beginning, understanding that this is the choice, and also allowing each other to grieve. They need to grieve, and not forcing them to grieve in the way that you grieve. I guess also understanding each other, understanding your life. And I think, like throughout this, you kind of touched on the importance of your relationship with God, even in those challenging times when you don't know the answers, you don't even know what question to ask, but the importance of maintaining that communication with God, just kind of stands out as you've shared.
Yeah. And I think in addition to that, also the quality of your own relationship, and I keep stressing that, because it's one thing for you to have a good relationship with God. It's another thing for that to translate into your relationship with one another. You know, because God you can't see, each other you can see, and you need to be able to at least have that connection going. You know, this has been such a powerful testimony. I mean, I don't know whether you guys kept seeing the comments and the likes and the love, the heart signs.
You know, especially about the hospital thing.
Yeah, no, but overall, I mean, people were.
You said that the hospital.
Somebody said they are too young to understand.
Don't mind them. They are thinking it, you know. But anyway, I mean, we more or less come to the end of this session now. I know that Pastor Mo has this event coming up at some point in when is it again?
December, is it?
12th of December. We are hosting a singles event here.
Yeah. You know, Pastor Mo and Pastor T, they have a couples singles ministry. Yeah.
Maximize single, maximize life.
Yeah.
Maximize single.
You know, but I mean, thank you for sharing this. I mean, you guys definitely have to come back on the Blue Sofa.
Yeah.
I will give you a full hour.
That's part 1, part 2.
But yeah.
Not the hospital scene.
No. So we pick it from where we stopped and we carry on how the 3 wonderful kids came along and all of that.
Yeah.
You know, so thank you. God bless you. We really appreciate you guys coming on, and I'm feeling it very last minute, and that's the value of this relationship that we have. You know, this morning I asked you if you could do it, and you agreed to do it, and I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Take care.
Thank you for the great job you're doing. We appreciate you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
To all the viewers, thanks. Remain blessed.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.